This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, sir. Hello, sir. Good morning.
A minute.
I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible. Shakil is also in. Hey, Shakil.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good evening. Okay, if you're in town, so let's start. Let's take a quick recap of what we did yesterday. There was one issue in our yesterday's session. Let's talk about that first. Just hide everything. Okay. So yesterday we spoke about branching. We learned different types of branching strategies. We learned what sort of branching strategies do organization follow. And then we also learned about the usage of branching. And then we spoke about why do we need stashing? What problems could be there? Problem statement we have seen, for which the resolution which get brought in was stashing, and then we saw stashing. We stashed certain files and then we brought it back. But while bringing in back, there was certain command which I was executing, which was taking input as stashing index, which was failing. So I'll just first touch that part, the one which was breaking yesterday. So I do have two files, and if I do git status now, it says that it's clean. As of now, nothing is there. Working tree is clean. So now what I have to do is just a moment. Okay, I'm back. So what is the thing is, yeah, well, while we were stashing, we found that there was a certain problem because I was unable to bring files from stashing area by using its stashing index, and it was breaking yesterday. So let's see what the resolution of that is. So now first thing is ls this files, and if I do git log --- one line, I cleaned most of the thing which we did, and git status shows everything is clean. So as a part of stashing, what we learned was we perhaps are editing some file, and while editing, we can have some other urgent, maybe urgent bug fixes which developer or application team may come up with, and we have to park whatever we are doing at this point of time so that we can pick up some additional task. We can pick up those urgent requests which comes from application team first. So now notepad, let's first edit this, and while I'm editing, I'll say this is a test for stashing. I'm just putting some code consider I'm just making modification in this file, which is demo file1.txt, and this is some additional line of code which I wrote. This is a test for stashing. I save it, but I did not commit this, and still I'm working on it. It's not yet done. Still, I'm modifying it. And I feel as if I'll take quite a time to complete my task, to complete my ongoing task. But while I'm working on it, while I'm modifying it, I got some urgent request from application team wherein they said that I want my issue to be addressed as soon as possible because it's impacting my production deployment, maybe. So now when it happened, what I'll do is I'll stash it, so git stash, and as I stashed, if I do git status, it is clean, like the way we learned yesterday. So now the problem was while we were bringing it back, it was failing. So now if I do git stash list, it says that yes, I do have, but the problem which we were facing yesterday, I'll just replicate the problem. The problem was git stash pop, and then when we gave this, it says that, okay, fine, there is some error. Even though if we did like this, git stash pop hyphen hyphen index and gave the stashing index, it still said the problem is with this. So what happened is with the newer version of Git, which we are working on at this point of time, which is the latest version of Git 2.52, what happened is they said that whenever you're using this stashing index, this stashing index, you have to put it within quotes. So now previously it was allowing without quotes also, but now it does not allow without quotes. You have to put this within quotes. So this was the problem which was generating this error. Now you see, as of now, let me just show you what the status is. If I do a ls, both the files are present. Git status, everything is clean because we have stashed whatever modification we were doing in demo file1.txt, we stashed it. But now I have to bring it back. In order to bring it back, this is the new fixes. Now you have to put this within quotes. Without quotes, it won't accept. Hit enter. Now you see it worked. It's not throwing any error anymore. And the file is also back, which is demo file1.txt. We brought the file back from stashing area and it's there in my working directory at this point of time. Now, if I do git status, let me first clean my screen. If I do git status, yes, I'm there. I'm on branch master. Now, I hope you will understand what this branch master means and how this master thing flows. And now, if I do git add, just follow the same procedure, the way we worked earlier, git commit -m, and I'll say modified stashed. I'm just writing some message. My phone is silent. Okay. Git commit -m, modified stashed file demo file1. Some meaningful message. And I am all good. Right? So this is where we were blocked, we were failing yesterday, which I said I'll look into the resolution and I'll get back. So this is the resolution. Now today we are going to start a new topic. Till now, whatever we did was in our local, right? Hope you are getting it. Whatever, all the commits, all the messages, I created demo file1, demo file2, it's with me. I am one of the contributor. We are a team of 3 to 4 members. I am one of the contributor out of these 4 members who are working on this project. But being a contributor, I have to share my content with you all. Being a contributor, until unless I share, because I'm a team player, until unless I share my content with my team won't be able to contribute to it. My team, entire project won't grow together. Because entire project will grow together when you will do something, when everyone will do something, and I'll also do something. But now whatever I did is only with me. It's not able to integrate with it with whatever you are doing, right? So I have to push it. I have to bring it now. I have to take it now to remote repository. So whatever I did now. Let me just do a kind of quick drawing. So what I did till now, what I've done, till now, everything is with me, and I did not publish anything to a place where I can share it with everyone else. So now what is there? So now this is fine. I am one of the contributor. I am one of the contributor. This is my working directory. This is my local repository, and this is where I am at this point of time. So this is my working directory, working directory. And from working directory, I moved to stashing area, buffer area, whatever you feel comfortable with. You can say stashing area. And from there, I move to local repositories. Everything is there with me. Everything is there with me. Now what I have to do, I have to move to a place because there will be other collaborators also. So this is the space. This is the space. This till here, consider this is the space of collaborator one. There can be other collaborator also. Like this, there can be other collaborator also. Consider there are two collaborators or two contributors. This is contributor one. This is contributor one, and this is contributor two. This is contributor two. There can be more than one contributor also. So now I have to share my things with others also. So what I want a remote repository. What I want a remote repository, and this remote repository will have content from each contributor, so that each of the contributor will be able to commit it, will be able to share it, and this remote repository will be accessible over internet, so that we can easily see it, so that we can easily access it from anywhere. We do not need to rely on physical presence of other contributors. So this should be the way. So now Git offers one remote repository, which is widely used in IT industry at this point of time. This is a distributed or decentralized version control system. And that repository, that remote repository which Git offers is called github.com. github.com is the remote repository which Git offers. This is github.com. So now this is like the way I said, it's a remote repository. Now what you have to do is, and this remote repository is offered by GitHub. So GitHub is a company, and this GitHub company offers a remote place to you, a place where you can put your data, so which you can share with your other team members. So it's a kind of GitHub is a company. This GitHub company is offering its product with the name github.com. Now, in order to use this, like Gmail is a product of what? Google. YouTube. YouTube is a product of which company? YouTube is not a company, but YouTube is a product. It's a product of the company of what? Google. Again, Facebook. Facebook is a product of Facebook company, which is facebook.com. Similar to that, GitHub is a product of a company, which is github.com is a product of the company, which is GitHub. In order to use Facebook, what you do? Whenever you are trying to open facebook.com, the first thing which Facebook says you is, if you want to use Facebook, create an account. Whenever you're trying to log in into gmail.com, what it says, if you want to use gmail.com, create an account. Similar to that, github.com also says that if you want to use GitHub, create an account. Now, in order to create an account, what I'll do, I will just show you how to create an account. In order to create an account in your browser, you type github.com. As you type github.com, it gives you an option to sign in, sign up. If you have, if you are a pre-existing customer, if you have already your credentials created, then it will be sign in. But in case if you are a first time user, you will use sign up as an option. Click on sign up. Now, either you can continue with your Google, either you can continue with your Apple ID, or you can create your own email password by putting in your Gmail ID, Hotmail ID, Yahoo Mail ID, whatever ID. In case if you do not have your Gmail ID or Apple ID, you have Hotmail ID, you have Reddit Mail, you have Yahoo Mail or any other mail, then or any other company's email, then you can put those companies' email ID and create an account for yourself. Account creation is very simple. It's like you are just creating an account there in any of the social website. As simple as that. You just have to put these values and it will move you forward, right? Once you create an account, the first thing which you will see is dashboard. As of now, my dashboard is having so many things because I have created it pretty much. It's been long, more than 5 years it's been I created this account. But for you, since you're the first time user, it will be absolutely blank. Nothing will be there on this screen. Now we will try to explore all the components of this dashboard, whichever is in use. But even before I do that, I'll give a quick pause. Any questions still here? It's a kind of straightforward thing, which I explained till now. I don't think there will be much of that questions, but in case if you do have any question till now, please ask me.
No, sir, you just drew the diagram, working directory, stashing area, and local repository. So this used to be staging area. Are you calling this
Oh,
stashing
sorry.
area now?
No, typo error. It's staging area only. It's a typo error. My bad, sorry.
But the stashing that you were explaining, that's another thing that you stash your
Yeah, right.
work. Okay.
My bad. Stash is different and stage is different. So this is staging area. Okay. Any other question? Yeah. Staging area. Okay. Somehow it looks correct. Staging area. And this is also staging area. Maybe just, it will be more easy if I just cut it. And if I write staging area. Okay. Right. So now here you have to create your account. That will be the first thing. You have to sign up, and once you sign up, you will see a dashboard of your own. Now, the first thing which you have to do is, since we are talking about remote repository, the first thing as you create your account, as you are able to log in, the first thing which you have to do is you have to create a repository of your own, which will be accessible by everyone in your project, everyone in your team should have access to that. Otherwise, it is not going to work. Now, in order to do that, what you have to do, you see there is a plus symbol. We'll come to different sections of this also, which is needed for us to work. But in order to create a repository, there is a plus symbol here, and there is a drop down beside it. There is a plus symbol and there is a drop down beside it. So now click on the drop down beside it. It says, and yesterday, if you remember, I was talking about issue, which we have raised. Practically, we have raised issue to GitHub, wherein we have mentioned that, hey, we are unable to hide our complexities, our ongoing work because it's creating mesh, the kind of use case, the kind of problem statement which I was talking about. Another thing is new repository, the repository which we are going to create, which is the central repository. Click on this. So now as I click on this, it gives me a couple of things. See, this is my username. DevOps ENG129 is my username, which I created while I was creating my account in github.com. This is my username. When you are creating your account, you have your username, which will be displayed here. Next thing which it's asking is a repository name, to which I'm giving some repository name. Maybe let's give GoInit and 3.12.25. Okay, now it says that this ID, this repository name is available. So this repository name should be unique in your account. You can have this name, same name even you can have, because your account and my account is different. But in my account, I cannot create two repositories with the same name. Another thing which it asks is description. This is for Git remote repo demo. Some description I gave. Choose visibility. I made it public. Why public? It's public because now I'm using it for demo. I'm using it for for a purpose so that I can just share it with anyone, anyone in this universe who is having github.com, who is having account created in github.com. Now there are other ways also. Another is private. Now, in private, it depends on you. You can choose who will have access, who will be able to see your code. Because whatever, if we are choosing public, anyone who is having account created in github.com will be able to access it. But if we are doing same thing for an enterprise level or for a multinational organization or perhaps for a pharmaceutical company, then there will be lots of security breaches because there will be lots of confidential data present here. There will be source code of any application. Think about this. If facebook.com's or google.com's application code, source code is leaked, there are very high chances that hackers will hack their application. Hackers will hack YouTube logic, Google logic, Wikipedia logic, and they can do whatever they want to do, which is very risky. So in order to prevent this, what GitHub says that I provide you another way also, which is private repository also. By private repository, you can decide who will have access, who will be able to see your source code. And in case if other than your allocated person sees your source code, then it's the responsibility of GitHub. In case if it happens, then whatever losses you will bear, that will be penalized, that you can penalize to GitHub. That sort of that sort of assurance github.com gives, but it incurs some cost. By default, only one private repository you can create. More than one private repository incurs some cost. So don't try to create private repository. There is no difference in between the usage of public repository and private repository. Only difference is private repository is secure because you can restrict who can see it, but it incurs some cost. We'll create public, but like the way I said, usage, commands, everything is exactly same. So now choose visibility. I'm keeping it
Sir,
public.
what would be a real production use case for public?
Production, there won't be any production use case for public because if you're keeping it public, you're exposing your source code to everyone.
Okay.
The usage of the whatever commands will be executing or whatever way will be using a public repository is exactly same the way you will use private repository. Only in private repository you have to pay some money to github.com. That is the only difference.
But you said one
By
private
default,
repository is free.
yes. By default, one private repository is free, but more than one you have to pay cost. Understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what I want to do is it says, do you want to start with a template? No, I want to show you from very scratch. I don't want to start from any template. Add readme file. Okay, fine. Let's add some readme file. It's just a kind of file. I'm just adding it. I'll just say there was no toggle button before. When I used to use earlier, there used to be radio button. Now you see there is a kind of toggle button. It's there. Lots of change. Things changed. Add readme, add get ignore. Let's skip it. Let's not add anything. We'll just try to push everything from our local. So just add a readme file and create a repository. Now you see what happened. It created a repository. Now I'm going to share this link with you also. Try to access this. Let me just share this with you also. Try to access this. See if you are able to access this. Click on the link. I just pinged in Zoom chat. Please check if you are able to access it. Now you see
Sir,
yesterday.
what is README here?
README is a kind of text file which actually says what is the purpose of this repository, what is the description of this repository. You see, whatever description I wrote while I was creating it, it appears here. So README is a kind of, you are just, anyone who sees this repository, you are just telling what you want to do. Why did you create this repository? That's it. Okay, so like yesterday, if you remember, I was saying by default, there will be either main branch or master branch, right? You see, in this, when we created this repository, it gave me the default branch as main branch. There is no master branch by default, but the one which we created, we have a default branch as master branch, right? Default branch is master branch. So either it will be main or it will be master, like the way I explained. Okay, so now we created a repository. We have a repository which is now accessible by everyone. Even you will be able to access this, right? Now, whatever I'll put in this, understand this, whatever I'll put in this will be shared with everyone, right? Whatever I'll do here will be shared with you all also. This is a kind of common place. This is a kind of a remote repository. Now what I have to do, I have to just, first thing which I have to do, and exactly same thing will be there. When you start working in organization, exactly same thing will be there. When you joined in day one, you are provided access, you are provided a laptop, you are provided with your credentials. Your team lead will come to you and will say, hey, this is our repository. You have to use this repository only. Following the branching strategy, which I explained yesterday, you have to follow this specific repository only for putting in all the code. You cannot use anything else. Then what you will do, I'll explain you from that point. So exactly same situation will be there when you are joining an organization. So now first thing which I'll do is I'll come out of this Git demo, because we have done lots of things in our local repository. Now let's do things in our remote repository. First thing which you will do is, so let's understand it in this way. Consider that I am working in this organization for last 5 years. Consider that you joined in today, and while you joined in, what you will do, this is a remote repository. Now, since I am working in this repository, sorry, in this organization and using this repository for pretty much long, there will be plenty of things in this repository. Or other than me, there will be other team members also who is contributing in this project. There will be plenty of content in this repository. So the first thing which you will do is you will bring in the content of this repository from remote repository to your local, like the way we learned the feature of a distributed version control system. Distributed version control system says that you will have a local copy of everything, whatever it's present there in remote repository, right? That is what we have learned earlier. The distributed version control system says that we will have a local copy of everything which is present there in remote repository. Simple. In order to do a local copy, what I will do, let's understand that. Let's understand that part now. Now, in order to create a local copy, see, there is a drop down. there is a drop down here which says code, right? As you will click on the drop down, it says that you have to clone, you have to do SSH, or you can use GitHub CLI. We'll talk about HTTPS also, SSH also. GitHub CLI we'll talk when we will be covering about when we are talking about GitHub Actions, which is the CI/CD part. So now HTTPS is what? You see the difference in URL. In case of HTTPS, it's a link, as simple as that. It's a link. HTTPS gives you a link which follows HTTPS protocol. SSH is the link. See, the link is different. When it's SSH, this kind of link you will see. When it's HTTPS, this kind of link you can see. We will use both and we will see. Let's first start with HTTPS. So I'm copying this link of HTTPS. And now you will ask which one to use most popularly. You can use anything as per your convenience. Whatever you are comfortable at, you use it. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to use this. You cannot use that. You can use anything which you wish to. So now I'm copying HTTPS first and hit the command git clone. This is the command by means of which you will create a local copy of remote repository. So now you see this. Don't get confused at this, because normally many a times I've seen students are getting confused in this. I am not in Git demo anymore. Git demo was my local repository, which I created earlier, in which we have seen lots of demo, right? That we have seen Git demo, separate thing. If I go into Git demo, I still have everything which we have learned till now, still have everything. But I came out of it. I came out of it. You see my path. This is my folder structure. Now I'm coming out of this. In order to come out of any of the repository in command line, the command is cd space dot dot, by using which I'll go a step back. It's like you are in a folder. For example, let me just show you in the folder structure: C drive, users, user, and git demo. This is the place where I am. What is the path? This is the path. You see the path here? Git demo. So now basically what I'm doing, I am just removing this git demo, hitting enter. I'm going a step back, right? Quite the same thing I did by using in command line, by using the command which is cd space dot dot. It will just take me one step back, only one step back. Now here, I don't have those files, demo file 1, demo file 2. So don't get confused that, hey, we did so many things in Git demo. Where did it go? We are completely out of our local repository. What we are doing, whatever it's present there in remote repository, I am bringing it in. Why? Because when you will join an organization, you have to first create the local copy of all the activity, whatever it's been done by organization, other DevOps engineers. You cannot say, hey, since these many days I was working in my local, I'll just use my local only. No, you are working in an organization. You have to use organization's repository only. You have to contribute in that only. You cannot use your own. Now, in order to do that, what I'll do, I'll use git clone, and I will take the HTTPS URL, copy this and paste it and hit enter. Now you see what it says, cloning into this, something happened. With all these messages, what you will get is, it has created a copy of your, remote repository. Now, how will you recognize what is where, like when we were working in Git demo, we created a working directory. We named the working directory as Git demo. Then we initialized everything on the working directory, and then we worked on it. How will I recognize what will be the working directory here? So now you see the name of your repository. What is the name of your repository? 𝐸𝐸nit 031225. When you cloned this repository and brought this and created a local copy of this repository, Git has created a folder with the same name as your remote repository. Now, if I come here, see, I created this in front of you few minutes back, and let me see, it does not even exist. Can you see? Okay, it existed just now. It came just now. You see the last folder, it came just now. See the timestamp, it is today's date, just a minute back. When I executed git clone command, it created this last folder, which is with the same name as my remote repository. How did it happen? This is the feature of Git. As you execute git clone command, this is what will happen. Okay, so now let me see if it has actually created, and I'll be able to access it from my command line or not. In order to do that, I will say cd 𝐸𝐸nit. You see, I'm able to access it. Hit enter and see my path changed. I'm into this folder. Now, if I do a ls, what I can see here, the remote repository is having what? Only one file. Can you see this? Remote repository is having only one file, readme.md. And what is the content of readme.md? This. I just created a copy of this repository. So ideally, even this file should be there in my local, because that is what the copy means. This file should also be there, and the content of file should be same. This. Let's see if it is there or not. Yes, it is there. readme.md. And let's see the content of this file. Notepad. readme.md. Yes, 𝐸𝐸nit 031225, and this is for remote, exactly same thing. Whatever it's present there in my remote repository, same thing I can see here also. So what I've done, I've created a copy of remote repository to my local. I'll give a quick pause. Any question till here? Ask me, please.
Sir, when you created this file, readme.md,
If you remember, while I was creating this repository, I toggled some button, which I was showing you. I'm toggling it, create a readme file.
okay, that one.
Yeah.
If we don't toggle, then we have to manually
Yeah,
do
then
it.
for sure. Yeah, you have to manually do it.
Where is the option for manual?
In that case, there are two ways. Either you can add a file, can you see this? Add a file, create new file, and give a name to this file. There are two options. readme1.md. This is a new file in a remote, and commit changes. Done. This is created. This is one way.
Okay.
And another way is you can create in your local repository and do all the steps which we have learned till now, and then push it.
Yeah. MD is the format, mandatory format.
It's not mandatory. Yeah, you can see it's a kind of format like HTML, similar type of format is MD.
Okay, good.
It's actually said to be as markdown. The full form is not mandatory. It's markdown.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other question?
So when you created this clone, it means the remote folder get created in the local repository, right?
A folder got created which is with the same name
Same.
as a remote repository.
And so basically, this is the purpose, or this is the ideal way to work on the this repository. I mean, locally, whatever changes we are doing, that will be performed locally, right?
Yes, all the changes you will do locally. After there is a reason. It's not as in you can work in a remote repository. There is a reason why we work, because in local, what happens is you have a number of things to work on. Like you have one IDE here, you can do Your normally in programming, what we do is we use a number of different terminals to write program. Like you have a PowerShell to write program. Different companies or different developers use Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Terminal. Visual Studio is a licensed one. Visual Studio Code is free of cost. It looks something like this. Visual Studio Code. It looks something like this. So a number of fancy terminals you get. You see, plenty of scripts you can write here. Plenty of scripts could be written here. And you get a fancy terminal in your local. And by using this terminal, what you will do, you will write some code and you will be able to publish it. But when you will go to remote repository, you will just get a kind of this page, blank page. If you want to write it, you have to write here only. So because of those restrictions, people prefer to use local repository to write and then push it to remote.
So in local repository, we can modify, update, and then we have to follow the same command to sync with the remote repository.
We'll do that.
Change it. Yeah,
We'll do that in few minutes. We'll do that.
yeah.
I'll show you.
Okay.
Clear.
Sir, I have a question.
Yep.
Okay, so we created a clone from central remote repository into our local machine.
Yes.
Okay, and what is the location? Is it in local repository or it's not going to use the same working directory? So, but what is the location? At what stage that gets
Yeah, you see
created?
that. I know that is a kind of confusion point. See, that is why I was explaining. We are not using the one which we used till now, Git demo. We came out of that. And as I created a copy of it, it created a separate folder because when we were working, when we were learning local repository, we created a separate folder, Git demo, for our learning. But now,
Yeah, so this Git demo is the working directory earlier.
It was earlier, yes.
Okay, yes. So now we created a new one.
Yes, which is this.
Okay. So does this local copy have 3 working areas also, like working directory, staging area, and then local repository?
Yes, it is having 3 areas. Exactly the way we learned before till now. Exactly same thing. Even this is having.
Okay. So, and what area are we in right now?
We are in working directory.
Okay. Okay. We haven't talked about the staging area yet.
We did not move anything to staging.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Okay, fine. So now what we will do, we will learn how to move our files from our local to remote. Now I believe you all do have access to remote repository. I believe you have clicked on the link also which I shared, and you are able to see same content, the one which I have now. First thing which we will learn is how we will be able to move our files from local to remote. Now, let's see. Now, first thing is you need to understand very nicely, and this will be very important, is what are these 3 different things. Now, till now, when I was working in Git demo yesterday, when I executed same command, git branch -a, what it was showing? It was showing only master, and I also said that they could be either master or could be main, both are same. Nothing different, just 2 names. But now you are seeing multiple things. Main, origin head, origin main. Don't get confused with this. 3 different names. What are this? Whenever you see this origin, main, remote, and main basically means it's the whatever you're doing locally. And remote origin main means you are sending something to remote in the remote repository. Now understand this. In the remote repository, this is the remote repository. You are recognizing your remote repository by what? Understand this very nicely. And this is actually simple, but many times very confusing. You are recognizing this remote repository by using this URL. You are in my account, DevOps ENG129. When you would have opened it, you see the URL contains DevOps ENG129, which is my account. When you create your account ID will appear here in the URL. In the URL here also, my account ID is appearing. My account ID is having many repositories. I'll create a duplicate tab, and here I'll show you all the repositories which I am having. I am having 201 repository till today. I am having 201 repositories till today. Out of 201 repository, we are working on only one repository, and we are recognizing our remote repository by what? By this URL. Now, here this basically means in the remote repository, something which is origin, and in this origin, I am working on main branch. So now this origin actually decides the location, the identity of your remote repository. Now, what is this origin? In order to understand origin, Git offers another command, which is git remote -v. When I execute this command, git remote -v, Git says that Git gives me this output. Let's understand this output. This output basically gives me exactly same thing. You see, here also origin is written. Here also origin is written. What Git says, from this point onwards, I am allocating one variable, one name to this lengthy URL, because perhaps you will not be able to remember your URL every time. So instead of this lengthy URL, I'm giving you a simple name which you can remember. By default, you can change it. Again, understand, you can change the name from origin to origin 1. Your name also you can keep. Nobody is going to harm it. But by default, Git assigns a name to remote repository, and that name is origin. So now this line basically means in remote repository, the identity of your repository is recognized by a name. That name is origin. And in that repository, I'm working on a branch, which is main branch. This is what this basically means. So this is telling you this doesn't have any remote origin. This is just telling, okay, fine, I'm working on my local, more or less. This main, there is no difference in between this main and this specific this specific remote's origin main. But this remote's origin main is basically pointing to the main branch, which is in remote repository. This main is the main branch in your local repository. Just not to confuse us, because we are users of Git, just not to confuse us, Git gave a different naming convention to the repository which is present in remote, which we are accessing remotely, and the repository or the branch which we are working locally. Just to give a kind of two different names, these two different things are there. Now, what is this? This again is same thing. This says, yesterday I was also talking about head, wherein I said that head is a pointer to latest commit in my active branch. So what head always will do? Head will point to the active branch, the branch where I'm working at this point of time, which is main, right? So this thing you need to understand very clearly. Don't get confused when you see remotes origin main and main. Remotes origin main is just a way where Git says this is your remote repository, and when you see only main, Main is a branch which is present in your local repository where I'm going to make changes. Until unless you sync, automatically changes what you will do in your local repository, in your local machine won't go. You will tell Git, hey, push. I'm just ready to push and I'm ready to move all my content from local to remote, then and only then your contents will move to remote repository. Otherwise, automatically, no. Don't think that you will make changes in your local and automatically that will get updated in your remote repository. No, you will do everything by your own. You will manually do that, right? So this is the basic difference. I'll give a pause. Any doubt in understanding this thing?
Sir, main, uh, that's the branch.
Yes.
You main. Well, what's the difference between main and uh, parent, master?
I think you have to listen yesterday's recording, Shakil.
Okay.
It will be clear. Any question? Okay. So in that case, um, yeah, in that case, what we can do is, as of now, what we have only readme.md file present in my local, because that is what I brought in. While I was copying, I brought only readme.md file from remote to local. Now let's learn first how to push our local content to remote. So consider I am one of the contributor, you are another contributors. Who is working on the same project, which is GUINET 03-1225. This is the name of the project, and we are working on the same project. Now I started developing my own content. In order to develop what I have done, I have used Notepad and I'll write demo file. I'll just write something different. Remote file 1.txt. All right. So now I'm just giving a different name so that I can create some sort of differentiation, a kind of differentiate in between what we have done only in our local to what we are doing now, so that we can push our files, push our data to remote repository. So now let's create a new file. This is my first file from, this is first file created by, this first file created by Chandra for a remote repo. Some name I gave and some content I wrote into this. See, same process I'm going to follow. Same thing I'll do what I did earlier. Git status, git add, git commit -m, and then I'll give a message. This is my first commit. Remote repo 1. Some meaningful message, right? Some meaningful message I gave the remote file on, some meaningful message I gave, done. Git status. Nothing is there. It doesn't mean that this file is in a remote repository. If I go to my remote repository and doesn't matter how many times I refresh, it doesn't mean the file moves to remote repository, right? Now what I have to do, I have to push it. Now this is very important thing which you need to understand. When I created this GitHub account, I gave a username and password. When I logged in into this github.com, like the way when you log into your gmail.com, what you do? You give a username, you give a password. Same thing is to facebook.com, same thing is to others. Same thing I have done with github.com also. When I was logging in, it asked me for my username, it asked me for my password, which I just put into. And after that, I logged in here. Right after that, I logged in here. Now I want to move everything from my local repository to remote repository. In order to move things from local repository to remote repository, Git offers another command, which is git push. So git clone, while I was pulling it from a remote repository to local repository, git push, while I'm moving from local repository to remote repository. This is very user friendly. You see, like the way if I'm moving something, if I'm pushing something, if I'm just keeping something in remote repository, I'm using another set of command, which is git push. And now what I'll do, where I'm pushing, how will I recognize? Because in DevOps ENG 1 to 9, I have multiple URLs. Many URLs is there. Which remote repository? I just few minutes back explained you same thing. I will recognize my repository with what? With a variable. Where did it go? Where are you? Where are you? Okay, just few minutes back I explained you that I'm going to recognize my remote repository by a variable, by a name, which Git by default assigned, which is origin. And now in this origin, which branch? Main branch. You have to mention everything. I'm pushing where? There is a location. There is a one identity of my repository, which is recognized by origin. In origin, which branch? Main branch. There can be other branches also. Like yesterday, we learned about B1 branch, B2 branch, master branch. There can be other branches also. So now in case if I have to put in B1 branch, then as of now, B1 does not exist. We'll talk about that also. So now if I want to push it in B1 branch, I'll give the name as B1. Now, since at this point, I want to push in main branch, I will give the name of the branch. Hit enter. As I hit enter, what it does is, okay, resolve github.com slash DevOps ENG 129 slash this. It is unable to resolve, it is unable to access this. Why it is unable to access? Why it is not able to push it? Because of, I think, some firewall issue in my laptop. It's nothing to do with the Git. So maybe what is happening at this point is, at this point, there is something in my laptop which is blocking this URL. But while I'm pushing, that time only it's blocking. While I'm pulling, while I'm cloning, it's not blocking at that time itself. So I think perhaps I have to demonstrate you in some different way. So now ideally what it should have done, I'll tell you. If you try in your machine once, in case if it doesn't work, perhaps I'll just use some other laptop to explain you. Not today, maybe tomorrow. Because by that time I'll be able to set up in that another laptop also. But ideally what it should have done, it should have asked for a username. It should have asked for a password. The username will be anyway same, which is DevOps ENG 129, exactly same username you could have given. But if you would have given the same password which you have used to log in, then it will fail. Ideally, what it should have done, if I executed this, if I would have executed this, you try doing it once. If it doesn't work, then I'll demonstrate you in a better way. Ideally, what it should have done, as you execute this, next it would have asked you a username, which is DevOps, but same thing will happen. In case if I execute it, same thing will happen here also. DevOps ENG 129 and password will be some password. Some password which I'm using at this point of time. It will be able to password. It will ask for password and you will be able to do this. But as you are doing this, what it will say is it will start failing and it will say that it is not the right method to connect to GitHub. It is not the right method you will be able to push to GitHub. In that case, what does it basically means? GitHub doesn't recognize you by using your username and password. Rather than that, GitHub is asking you to create a token. GitHub will recognize your username, but GitHub does not allow you to log in by using your username and your same password. The password which you use to log in into github.com, GitHub won't allow you to perform the push by using same username and password. In order to fix this problem, what you will do, you will use a method. Now this I'm going to introduce you because this is one of the very important thing which we have to do whenever we log in into github.com or whenever we try to commit something, whenever we try to push something to remote repository, we have to follow this step. So I'll just explain this step one after the other very properly so that you understand it. So now what I said is it is not going to recognize your username and password as the right combination to push. In order to push, what you have to do is you have to use your username, but instead of password, you have to use a token. It won't allow you to use a password. You have to use a token. Now, how will you generate that token? What is that token? In order to generate the token, you see the last icon, the rightmost icon, which is some circle is there. In that circle, some rectangle or something is made. Some icon is there. Click on that icon. As I click on that icon, one option is there which says settings. So I just clicked on this icon. As I click on this icon, one option opens which is settings. Click on that option settings. In this option, just go to the bottom, exactly bottom of the page. You don't have to look anywhere. Just go to the bottom of the page, and in bottom of the page you have an option called developer settings. Developer settings. Now click on this developer settings, and as you click on that developer settings, you use something. Can you see this? Personal access tokens. You have to use this only. Personal access token. Also, many a times it's recognized with a shortcut to which you will to which people say as PAT. Many times in company, people say, "Hey, can you generate a PAT for yourself?" PAT, which stands for personal access token. So now here in personal access token, what you will do, you click on this personal access token, and then you have to use this tokens classic. This one, tokens classic. Click on this. As of now, it exists for me, but there's no harm in generating another one. Generate new token. It's going to ask me signed in as my user ID and verify email. It is sending a message, or it is sending one OTP in my email ID, which is this, which I already got. So let me just put in into this. So I got a message in my email. I'm just taking it from my email ID. Just a moment, please. And the verification code which I got is 48535820. 48535820, and verify. As I verify, it is going to ask me, tell me the token name. I'll tell the token name. Gwinet 3. You can give any name. 25. This is for Git demo. Any message. I am the owner. Expiration. Normally we keep expiration as 90 days. for all repositories, not only public. I'm giving for all the repositories and generate token. Your new personal access token will be ready for use immediately. It will expire on this date, which is 90 days from today's date. Generate a token. This is only one time generated token. If I'll refresh this page, this token will be gone. Now you see it says GitHub_pat. Same thing, which I was explaining you. So I'm just copying this. Pat. Now what is my pat? This is my pat, which instead of password. So Git recommends to use username and pat token combination and not password combination. So the combination which you will be using in order to log in will be use your username and the pat token which you generated with the same command. And as you will use that, it will be able to push the content from your local repository to a remote repository. Now, I won't say that you won't have any confusion, you won't have any doubt in this. Certainly, 100% there will be doubt because there are so many steps we have done, right? But what I'll strongly insist you is do this and then see in case if you do have any doubt, any question. Certainly a number of different questions because you don't understand the flow, which I have done just now. Do this and then check in case if it works. All right? Anything which you want to ask? We are going to end our session today here only. Anything which you want to ask before I end our today's session?
Sir, after token, what we need to do? How to log
That's
in
it.
and
That's it.
upload
After token, when you are executing this command, so when you are executing this command, it is going to ask you username, password. Put username as the account ID which you have used while creating your account, and instead of password, put this token. That's it.
Currently, it is not working, right? Okay.
As you will do this, it will work. If it doesn't work, then just let me know tomorrow.
Okay, I mean the firewall is blocking in
Yeah,
your
for
system.
for me, firewall is blocking. If I have to show you, then I have to change my laptop.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Anything which is there in your mind.
Yeah, I think I'm good, sir.
Good. Okay. Fine. Then let's meet again tomorrow. Do this because this creation of part token, it includes certain steps which you have to perform, which you have to do, and you have to just check in case if it's working for you. So do this and let me know tomorrow in case if it works, if it doesn't work, whatever it is, let me know tomorrow. Sounds good?
Yes, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
so tomorrow's topic would be?
Tomorrow we will be completing our GitHub, and then day after tomorrow we'll have one quick interview discussions. I'll ask you some of the question on the topic which we have covered. I'll just introduce you with some of the very commonly asked question in Git.
Okay, sir. And sir, our notes is getting ready,
Yeah,
or
your
it
notes
is
is almost
like
ready.
commands?
Yeah, almost it's ready, especially on the commands. I've created notes. Let me check. I've tried to organize it in scenarios. I have put lots of thing which I want to practice you by your own. I mean, some of the thing which if you'll practice by your own, it will be even better. So I just put in a number of other contents also, which I even did not cover in the session. But if you'll do this, if you don't do this, there's no harm. But if you'll do this, you will gain some more knowledge only. And that I'll be sharing maybe let's see if I'll be able to share it today itself. I'll do that. It's almost set. I was taking time to organize it in a proper way, which is there now. So I'll be able to share it with you.
Yes, sir. Please take time. I'm not in hurry.
But
Take
yeah, it's
time
ready.
and done from your side, then you can,
No worries. It's ready. I'll be able to share it. Any other question before we end up? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Thanks. Let's meet again tomorrow and let's see. Try this pat for sure and see if it works. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.